episode of How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. My name is Stacey Morgan, and today's episode is brought to you by my Thrive Mastermind. Thrive is a 6-month mastermind program that is a combination of group coaching and one-on-one coaching. It's for ambitious women in business who are ready to level up, who are ready to take their business to the next level, and who are ready to be surrounded by other like-minded business women. It's a fabulous group of people we have working at the moment for 2021. We are heading towards graduation season, and if you'd like to get on the wait list for next year's Thrive program, of course, we only do it once a year. We open the doors in March, and then we carry through April till October. If you'd like to join us, you can jump on the wait list now at simplystaceymorgan.com. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope that some of the things we talked about in episode 21 are things that you are putting into practice now. I would love to hear from you if there are things that you're doing in terms of your own self-care, things that you're putting in your calendar and making sure that they happen, things that you're doing to take some time for yourself, to reward yourself for all of the energy that you give to other people throughout your week. I hope that since last week's episode, you've had a chance to be able to do something. Please let me know. Jump into my DMs on Instagram. I would love to hear about it. But today we're going to take the concept of self-care just that little bit further. And, I spoke about Ali Garrison in the last episode because Ali has been so instrumental in terms of making time for myself, in terms of teaching me to make time for myself when it comes to my own self-care. But the concept we're going to talk about today was something that she suggested to me a couple of years ago. And I have to be honest with you, when she first suggested, I thought she was crazy. And that is, of course, I'm going to be talking about Flamingo Time. And Flamingo Time is what I have coined the time that I take for myself where nothing is planned. I'll say that again. The time that you put aside for yourself where you don't have anything to do. And now you understand why I thought Ali was crazy when she first brought this up with me, because she wanted me to be open to the idea of having time in my calendar where I didn't actually have to be anywhere, where I didn't have to do anything, and when there wasn't anything to be achieved. And for me, I'm an Enneagram 3 and I'm an I on the disc profile. And so for me, it's all about achievement. It's all about productivity. It's all about getting stuff done. That's how I get excited. That's how I get my energy. So the concept of doing nothing for me was completely foreign. And I didn't really understand it in the beginning, to tell you the truth. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, Ali, that will be fun. Thinking to myself, there's no way I can do that. That is absolutely not something I can do. And if you're thinking exactly the same thing, do not switch off this episode. Please stay tuned, because I'm going to walk you through how I went from thinking this was absolutely crazy to actually making it something that's really important and is just a game changer in terms of running my business and in terms of my own personal development. So the reason it's called Flamingo Time is because I use Google Calendar, and there is a color in my iPhone on Google Calendar that is called flamingo, and it's a pink color, duh. And the flamingo color is the color that I put aside in my calendar when I have time, when I have self-care time, when I have time for myself. And sometimes things like a massage appointment or getting my eyelashes done is put in that flamingo color. But Ali has really encouraged me to put time aside in the flamingo color, to block out that time in my calendar, because of course she understands that I'm all about scheduling. And so she's making me put it in my calendar because I'm okay with that concept. But she's making me put that time aside in my calendar where I don't actually have anything planned, in order to just be. And the power behind that is not, it sounds a bit woo-woo and it sounds a bit earthy crunchy, but actually the amount of energy that I can put into other things is directly correlated to the amount of rest and stillness and time that I've had to myself. So if I'm trying to just be going every second of every day for every week of every year, then that isn't sustainable. Putting flamingo time in my calendar means that I have, up times and down times, times where I'm putting out a lot of energy and times where I'm conserving a lot of energy. And for me, the concept of that was really hard to grasp, because I always wanted to be doing something and always wanted to be being productive. Now, the great thing about flamingo time is that it's time that you put aside where you get to actively choose what you want to do with that time. And so it doesn't always have to be, sitting still cross-legged on the floor, breathing in and out. Sometimes it can be that. Sometimes that's really good for me to do. And sometimes that is just the last thing on earth that I want to do. And last week I talked about the importance of self-care and about different things that light you up and different things that really recharge you. And so I talked about moving my body. So I might put Flamingo Time aside, and I often have Flamingo Time on a Friday between 2 and 3. And so it's between the last meetings of the week, the last, get this done of the week, and school pickup. And I put that time aside. That's where I'm at currently. I didn't start with that much time. Honestly, I just started with, can I do this for 5 minutes? Can I do nothing? Can I have nothing on my schedule for the next 5 minutes without losing my mind, without checking my email, without scrolling through Instagram, without putting that load of washing out, without, all the things that need to be done in our world? I just started with the 5 minutes, but now I'm up to an hour. So I have an hour of Flamingo Time on a Friday, and that time can be used in whatever way that I like. So I talked last week in self-care about moving my body. Sometimes between 2 and 3, it's really useful for me to move my body, to go for a walk on the beach, to do a lap around the block, to jump on the Peloton, to do something and to keep moving. That's really meditative for me. Sometimes it's just chilling out in front of the TV and putting on a movie that I've watched 100 times, like putting on America's Sweethearts or putting on When Harry Met Sally, and just like blah. Sometimes that's really useful. Sometimes it's really useful to use that time to write out my to-do list for the following week, or to get my weekend plans in place. So if I've got a rehearsal on the weekend and I want to make sure I've got my music and I've got my notes and I know what I'm doing and where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing in terms of choreography, sometimes I use that Flamingo Time for that. But the point with the Flamingo Time is that you can use it for whatever you like, and it doesn't have to be go, and it doesn't have to be completely still and silent. But whatever you need at that time, you've blocked it out for yourself. You're not waiting till the end of the day, till the kids have gone to bed, till the kitchen's cleaned up, till the lunches are made for the next day, till you've laid out your outfit, and then you go, I've got time for myself. What will I do? Because often you don't do anything. Often, if I get to that point, I'm huffing and puffing around the house going, I want to go to bed, or I can't believe I'm not in bed already. So you want to be able to put this Flamingo Time aside at a time where you're going to be able to take a breath and use it in the best way possible for you at that time. You want to put it aside at a time where you're going to have, a really clear mindset to be able to make a really good choice during that time. And for some people, this is first thing in the morning. If you get up before the kids get up, and we talked about this in last week's episode, if you have that silent time, that 6 o'clock till 6:30 time in the morning where the air is really crisp and it's really fresh outside, and there's all the anticipation of a new day, and you can just have that time in silence to yourself. That's Flamingo Time, like putting that time aside when the alarm goes off, getting out of bed, or when you first wake up, getting out of bed and not getting back into bed and, crawling back under the doona. Instead, putting your dressing gown on, going downstairs and getting started for the day just in that silence for yourself. That can be Flamingo Time as well. But Flamingo Time for me is something that started really, really small, and that has grown. And Fridays from 2 to 3 is not the only time that I schedule in Flamingo Time as well. If I have a big afternoon of teaching, I often have Flamingo Time before that, because I need just time just to pull it all together. If I've had a really, really big day, I often want to have Flamingo Time at the end of the day, and I'll put that aside. Thursdays are really big in our house, really big for our family. I teach all day, and then I do school pickup, and then I teach all night, and then Heath works late, so I get the kids home and get dinner done and bath done and reading done and stories done and into bed and get everything ready for the next day. And that's massive. That's a really massive day for me. So at the end of Thursday, I block out Flamingo Time. That moment that Heath walks through the door and I can tag out, that's me time. That's Flamingo Time. And sometimes I use that, to have a bubble bath. Sometimes I use it to read. Sometimes I use it to catch up. Sometimes I just fall in a heap. But that is time for me, and that is time that I've put aside. So my challenge for you this week is to jump on board the Flamingo train and use the hashtag Flamingo Time. If you're doing something that is Flamingo Timey, make sure you tag me. I would love to see it. It's about scheduling time for yourself, and it's about actually being conscious about having that time and putting that time aside because you know all the benefits. I know that you hear me talk about the benefits of this in terms of your social and your mental and your physical well-being, but I know you know that. The difference between knowing and doing is the action. And I really want you to take action on this. So in the next 7 days, I really encourage you to find some time, pull out your calendar right now, pull over the car if you're driving, stop by the side of the road and pull your phone out of your back pocket if you're taking a walk, and open your calendar, figure out where you're going to find 5 minutes for yourself, and just start with 5 minutes. Block out that 5-minute time slot, and then have yourself some flamingo time in the next 7 days and let me know how it goes. Once you get better at it, and once you get through that uncomfortable, of course, everything when you try new things, it's uncomfortable. So trying to get through that uncomfortableness of having something on your calendar where you're not quite sure what's going to happen, that is okay. Get through that 5-minute block, and maybe next week you can make it 10 minutes, and the week after you can make it an hour. And before you know it, you're going to have a whole flamingo day. I'm not there yet. I'm not at flamingo day right now. I know Ali told me once that I would get there, but it's, for me, it's about, baby steps and taking action. So I really encourage you today to take some action on your flamingo time. Take a screenshot of it, stick it on your Insta story, use the hashtag flamingo time. And of course, tag me at Simply Stacey Morgan on Instagram. I would love to see it. Equally, if you enjoyed this episode and you know someone in your life who could do with some flamingo time, then make sure you share this episode with them as well. I hope you're subscribing to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and I really hope that you have left us a rating or review. Please do. That really helps us share the podcast with so many more people from all around the world. If you're not following me on Instagram already, jump on. I'm at Simply Stacey Morgan. And if you want to jump on the Thrive waitlist because you are ambitious and you are running your own business and you really want someone to help hold you accountable to reach some big goals in 2022, then I encourage you to join the waitlist now. You can do that at simplystacymorgan.com. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your world to jump on in here and listen to me go on about things like flamingo time. I really appreciate it. I know your time is very valuable. So thank you so much for joining us, and I will talk to you soon.